Well, dinner was nice. Not the best meal I've had there, but you know what? It was a meal and it was free, and I'm thankful for that. If nothing else, coming down here like this is making me a lot more thankful for what I have and grateful for my current situation. So it's still Monday, July 17th, 7:03 p.m., and just getting ready to head out of the zone. As you can see, 12th Avenue, heading to the entrance to the Human Services campus has not been cleaned up, and that's the view of the tents on the on the east side of the road, as seen through a vacant lot that's fenced off. And I took a picture of the other side just because it amused me how the one row of tents had made a front fence out of pallets. Because, you know, everybody dreams about the house with the white pallet fence, right? Meanwhile, across the street, there's the lovely Carnegie Library and the Carnegie Library Park, which takes up the equivalent of 2 city blocks and is completely fenced off so as that nobody can actually enjoy the park or all the trees and the grass in the park. Thank you, state of Arizona, for that. I think I'm going to head to the other side of the road. It's looking, whoa, hello. He stopping? He is stopping. Wow, amazing. Thank you. So, I just saw it looked like they might be a couple walking past me, and I waited until they were kind of gone before I started my video. And I found the woman kind of cute, but they were walking separately, so I didn't think they actually were a couple, but apparently they are, and they're in the process of moving their house. So that's a scene I haven't seen down here. I'm kind of curious what's up with that. I've always wondered like what the politics is of setting up a tent. Like, you know, it's not like a normal campsite, you know, where you make a reservation and you check with the park ranger and find out which sites are open, or you go to a site that it's like, okay, there's nothing here, I can go ahead and set up here. Like it's got to be interesting, and I really don't know how that works. And part of me really, really wants to find out and share it with y'all. So, by the way, that was 11th Avenue to the south. Again, the view of tents. Ooh, yikes, I lost my flip-flop. Ooh, and that sidewalk is still hot as hell. Damn. Again, a view of another row of tents along the sidewalk and easement beyond a vacant lot. So there are several vacant lots down around here that are fenced off. And, oh, I've seen this guy before. That's awesome. He's got like a whole bunch of longboards that he has together as like a train that he uses for moving stuff. It trips me out every time I see him rolling around. This is not anywhere near the first time I've seen him. So anyway, yeah, several vacant lots like that. And you know, it's just the investment. Well, I mean, it could be people, it could be firms. I don't know who owns the property, but obviously people hanging on to it as an investment. And often I wonder, you know, what can be done to discourage that, which is probably the least useful use of a piece of municipal property. Meanwhile, you've got other people that are so destitute that they're living in these shanties. That's 10th Avenue to the south. And the west side of the road completely clear, and there's parking for cars there. There's usually a bunch of bums, you know, sitting in the shade adjacent to the building, but like nobody living in shanties and stuff on that side. But then the other side, completely full between Jefferson Street and the alley that's between Jefferson and Madison. Yeah, it's so funny when the city of Phoenix talks about, oh, well, they've done cleanup efforts. Their cleanup effort that they do every few weeks is typically one half of one block on one side of a street. And as you saw that couple, it's not that hard for some people to just pick up and move. And some people, they didn't clean up the encampment. They didn't remove the encampment. All they did was force some people to the other side of the street, assuming there's space on the other side of the street. And the people that are on the other side of the street are going to let them be on that side of the street. I can't help but imagine people get just the shit beat out of them for not being on the side of the street that somebody else wants them on. I mean, I don't know this for certain, but I've heard some stories. And certainly I've heard situations where some people are pissed off at some other people for God knows why. And I've just burned other people's tents down because it doesn't take much to set a tent on fire when it's 109 degrees outside. Speaking of which, the sun is starting to go down, so the temperature still feels hot as absolute hell out here, but presumably a little less brutal. Unlock the iPhone, and the iPhone's back to making that tick, tick, tick sound every time I touch the screen. I could have sworn I disabled that. Weather widget on the iPhone saying 110 degrees. So it's definitely cooled down from the 114 it was earlier, but it's still damn hot. Although I will say it feels significantly cooler right here walking in the shade than it did when I was walking over. So even though there's only been a 4 or 5 degree difference, it feels dramatically cooler. It's amazing how much difference it makes just getting out of the direct sunlight. So no sightings of my daughter Allison down in the zone. I didn't talk to her, or I've had very minimal chat messages with her since she finally texted me again on her new Obamaphone yesterday morning. She told me about a kind of a residential treatment program or something that she's considering to getting into, and I told her that would be great. And she said that this one is specifically for youth and young people, so I also think that would be really good for her. I'd certainly rather her be around people her age that are going through similar stuff, as opposed to being around, people that are, say, my age that might be looking to prey on someone that's her age. So here we go, another lot just fenced off and being sat on by somebody as an investment. It's amazing somebody has like that much wealth that they can just let a piece of property in Central Phoenix go to waste, while other people are so destitute and desperate that they're actually, I was watching a guy while I was checking my messages and stuff inside the courtyard at the Human Services complex of the campus after having dinner, and the sitting in the shade there. What's up, guys? All right, some Mormon missionaries. Those two are brave doing their thing down here. And as much as I'm not a Mormon, I genuinely do believe that God will protect and watch out for them. I don't know why. I just do. Well, not sure what happened here, but that looks gross. I think I'm going to walk around that spot. Actually, now that I look a little close, it looks like it was some kind of a construction thing. All right, not sure what we got going on here, but I'm going to try to... Is there a person or just somebody's leftover garbage? Looks like just somebody's leftover shopping cart full of garbage. That's lovely. I didn't think it was legal to park over there. Yeah, I guess it probably is. I can kind of see where the painting on the curb changes right there, and maybe there's a sign that says parking starts there. That is not a spot I would feel comfortable parking. And honestly, parking here, and we get more litter. Parking here, I would be legit more worried about some bad driver plowing into my car and doing a hit and run and coming back to a car that's been damaged by another vehicle than I would be homeless people breaking into it. There's enough traffic here, plus you got the Phoenix Police Department headquarters directly across the street, that I don't think any homeless person would consider fucking with a vehicle parked there. But yeah, my ex-girlfriend Tracy one time had somebody plow into her car while it was parked in front of my house in Sweetwater and destroyed it. And fortunately, they were kind enough to leave a note on her car, but they could have just as easily not, and she would have had a destroyed car and no recourse. Somehow I don't think that woman is waiting for the bus. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't think she is. Especially considering that that is a rapid bus stop. Oh, this is neat. Never noticed this sign before. Centennial Way. It's a directory to all the stuff in this area, all the little monuments to the different counties and things about the state of Arizona, and tribal displays. Along Centennial Way, Arizona's story is conveyed through word, vivid images, and maps, providing a glimpse into the history, culture, events, and people who have contributed to the making of Arizona. Lighting for the shade structures is powered by solar energy, an abundant natural resource in Arizona. Historic buildings in the corridor are Carnegie Library, built in 1908, and the Evans House, built in 1893, both of which I featured in my videos, and both of which are completely just fenced off and completely inaccessible to the public. You know, you can look, but you can't touch, and you can't enter. So yeah, there's a map of the immediate area. And the zone, of course, is the area directly to the south of it. This is kind of helpful because it shows like kind of a where it is relative to the the rest of the city. That map kind of messes me up because north is to the right. I don't know. When I look at a map, regardless of its orientation, my physical position, I just expect north to be up. It's, anything else on a map is just wrong. Oh, my phone is dinging. I'm getting text messages. Might have to cut this off for a moment and see what's up with that. Oh, interesting how they have this divided into zones here. We got the State Capitol Complex, Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza. I drove by that the other day and I was trying to remember what the hell that park with all the monuments is called, and I couldn't remember. So yeah, Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza. That's a great area, and I've done some videos where I've walked through and shown some of it, but I should definitely do some more. That's neat. And a lot of times there's just things, really cool things going on down there. So it's called Tribal Walk, which I think is they call that area Tribal Walk, and then they call the other area Arizona and County Walk. And my guess is that the monument's along Washington Street, which is really funny because this map, instead of calling the street between Jefferson Street and Adams Street, Washington Street, they call it Centennial Way. Yeah, that's confusing and misleading. Oh, it's interesting. Here it says Centennial Way, and here it says Washington Street. Shit like that I just find misleading and confusing. And again, a map with north to the right as opposed to up. Although, considering the layout of this whole thing, that I can let that slide. That one doesn't bother me, but the one on the right kind of does. I don't know, I'm guessing, just looking at the color coding here where it says tribal displays, I would imagine a bunch of the tribal displays are in the space between 13th Avenue and 15th Avenue. I definitely need to do some more videos about that stuff, because it's pretty neat. Meanwhile, lots of garbage on the ground. This doesn't look like leftovers from homeless people, though. This looks like leftovers from people who wrecked their cars and didn't pick up the mess that their wrecked cars left. Sad, really. Ooh, somebody really wants to get a hold of me. Oh, there's my walk signal. I was really wanting to turn the camera around. I guess I'll do it as I go through the parking spot. So this vacant lot on the corner, that's one that really personally upsets me, because I mean, beyond the obvious of I have an issue with pieces of property just sitting empty like that while people just while people are using it as a means, as a what the hell? I don't know if the tapping sound is going into my video, but I'm sure hearing a weird tapping sound. Oh shit, never mind. That is coming from my iPhone. I forgot I had my earbuds plugged in. I forgot I was recording on Obamaphone 3. iPhone unavailable. Try again in a minute. So apparently my iPhone was the touchscreen was sensing enough touch in my pocket that it tried to put in some unlock codes that didn't succeed, and now I'm locked out of my iPhone. That's fabulous. Well, I guess I won't be checking. Oh, so y'all aren't hearing the dings. Those are in my ears. I got my earbuds on. Hi, I'm Dan. I'm a little slow sometimes. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to unlock those and check those messages for a bit. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, here we have two corner lots of prime real estate that somebody's just sitting on. And I'm reasonably sure that somebody is the city of Phoenix, which pisses me off even more than private investors sitting on property and doing nothing with it. And what pisses me off even more than that, and why that particular piece of property is so personal to me, is one of the reasons, I believe, one of the reasons that the homeless epidemic is so bad the way it is, and that there's so many people living in tents on the streets the way they are, is because there's no longer flop house hotels. And I might be using a term that doesn't mean much to younger people. But when I say flop house motels, I mean dumpy little hotels, really awful little hotels that have sleeping rooms that sometimes aren't even like a regular hotel room. We're talking just a little teeny tiny room. Sometimes the walls don't even go all the way up to the ceiling, but where you've got a bed and you can close the door and you have a place to sleep for the night. Those used to be a thing in most major cities, and Phoenix used to have a few of them, and I've stayed at two of them. And the one I used to stay at semi-regularly was on that corner right there. It was called the Washington Street Hotel. And now, granted, this was in the mid-1990s when I was struggling with some mental health issues and consequently homeless. When I would stay there, a sleeping room was $10 for the night. And I could get an actual room that I could close. Now, granted, it didn't have a bathroom. I still had to use the communal bathrooms and communal showers if I wanted to bathe or go potty. But it was a more private room. It was completely enclosed, unlike the little tiny sleeping rooms. And I had a nice little dresser and a little chair in there. Now, I don't think guests were allowed in any of the rooms there, if memory serves. Unless they paid for occupancy, and that was a little extra. And as I recall, the Washington Street Hotel did not allow women. It was men's only, which I think would be at this point illegal, but things were different in the 1990s. So trippy looking inside the Federal District Courthouse, especially when you can see in through the glass. I would love to shoot some video inside there, but I don't think that's allowed inside the building. Had a lot of adventures in that building, but I'm not going to try and get sidetracked on that right now. So, yeah, the 7th Street Hotel, the enclosed room was like $15. And usually I could hustle up enough money that I could get that. In fact, I had one of those rooms that I stayed in for several weeks, and to the point I was receiving mail there. And they would receive mail if you stayed at a room long enough. Like you could receive mail at that address and that, unit number. It looked like an apartment address. And some people just stay there for the night. Some people stay there for weeks and months at a time. But it was a place where somebody who was homeless, if they could hustle up a $10 bill, didn't have to sleep on the streets for a day. And the reason it is no longer there, and the reason I'm so pissed off that is a blank, vacant lot, and the reason I'm even more pissed off that I'm reasonably convinced that vacant lot is actually owned by the city of Phoenix as opposed to a private property investor, is because the 7th Avenue Hotel was eliminated not because it wasn't able to stay in business or function. And mind you, that was not a charity-run place. That was a private business that was functioning such as it was. It was very historic on the inside. It had like molded steel ceilings. It was an all brick structure, I would assume, built in around the 1920s from what I remember of the architecture. And if I can find some pictures of it, I'll try to edit them into this. So what pisses me off more than anything is the reason that the 7th Avenue Hotel was removed and demolished is the city of Phoenix did an eminent domain action on it. Now, the whole purpose of eminent domain is so a government entity, whether it's the state or the county or the Department of Transportation, which is generally run by the state, although it could be the county Department of Transportation, or it could be some kind of special regional rail authority, or a city, usually done by cities, can take over a piece of property for the greater good. And generally, I hate the whole concept. For some things, I can kind of get behind it. And for those things, I would say completion of freeways when there's absolutely no other way to get it done. Completion of rail lines when there's absolutely no other way to get it done. Completion of necessary drainage projects that stop a city from flooding. I can definitely get behind that. Of course, I do feel people need to be made whole for the loss of their property, whether that be through money or being given a comparable or better piece of property. And really, I mean, I think that should be at the discretion of the person which they want. Because depending on what that person's financial situation is, just giving them money might not help them. That money just might all end up being attached by debtors. So in that situation, I think they should be given equivalent property so they still have, their business or their home or whatever it is that they stand to lose in eminent domain. But to me, absolutely, there's nothing worse than, and it seems like complete abuse of that procedure, for a city to use an eminent domain action just to bulldoze a structure and have it sit as an empty lot because they don't like it. It's not pretty. It's not what they like. That building was definitely operating within code. And as far as, being safe and secure, it was literally catty corner to the Phoenix Police Headquarters. I never heard of any shit going down in there. I always felt safe staying the night there. I always felt like my stuff was safe in my room there. When I had the one room, the $15 room, I was able to lock my door and keep my stuff in there. I had a little computer set up and trying to set up an office there and trying to get my taxi company going again. I didn't really have the mental faculties or the money to make it work, but boy, in my head, I sure thought I was going to. Anyway, I was not going to go on a tangent about the 7th Avenue Hotel, but yeah, of all the different atrocities done by the city of Phoenix to destroy things that I valued greatly about the city of Phoenix, that's really high on my list. And another one that's also really high on my list is this thing that we're coming up here across the street from the light rail station. By the way, I'm in front of the old courthouse right now. By the way, the inside of that building is fabulous. I love that architecture. And the light rail station is here. I decided not to wait for the dash bus because I'm honestly not sure if the dash bus is running this late and didn't feel like fucking with the Valley Metro app to try to figure it out in the heat. I figured it'd be best to just walk on over to the light rail station. But anyway, atrocities, things that I valued in the city of Phoenix, that the city of Phoenix eliminated and destroyed, is this block right here, which ironically is still called Patriot Square. And now there's a little park inside, a little itty bitty bit of green space inside. There's a kids splash play area. That's good. I like that. That could have been added to the old to the old Patriot Square Park, though, without eliminating the original Patriot Square. But no, instead we've got a big commercial development and giant digital billboards, and of course things that make the city money. But what was lost was this beautiful park that to me was something I was very proud of, that was a public space for everybody. And I could go off on many stories about time I spent there, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just I'm not going to wait. Boy, that one's loud and scary. Oh my God.
Wait.
It wasn't as loud that time. That was weird. I'm going to wrap this up here. I was talking about how I was going to shoot shorter videos, less videos, so I can catch up and get stuff uploaded. Yeah. Yeah, as you see, I'm getting right on that. Now I need to figure out what's going on with what all the messages are on my iPhone. I do have work tonight at midnight. I've picked up 3 more shifts on Wonolo. I'm going into the HelloFresh delivery unit again at midnight. I forget, I think it's midnight to 6 a.m. is what they have me scheduled for. It's a little bit less money this time. I think instead of, oh gosh. Anyway, it's not as much money as it was last time per hour, but it's going to be notably more for the shift. And again, they're saying a 6-hour shift. Now I do expect it might end sooner, but I believe there's a possibility it could go later as well. So yeah, that could go either way. Again, my goal is make money, even if it's not the best money. Just keep every opportunity I have to make money. I feel I need to take it until I know I have my August rent paid. So anyway, I have to be there at midnight. So plenty of time for that. I feel very well rested, so I don't feel like I need another nap between now and then. I forget what time I woke up, but I definitely got a good day's sleep and slept really, really deep and sound in my very comfy bed in my nice, cool apartment. The cluttered mess that it is, at least it's a comfortable spot for me to sleep in, which is something that not everybody has, and something I really need to not take for granted, and being down, and eating at the zone and coming into the zone, it's a good reminder of that. I'm thinking most likely it's Priscilla asking me to come over. I had asked her, I say we kind of kissed and made up yesterday, and I had asked her if she wanted me to come by after I got off work this morning, and she had said that she'd rather I come by, that it would be better if I came by after she gets off work. She gets off of work at 6. She didn't offer to feed me, so yeah, priorities. I need to eat, and it's not her responsibility to feed me. So I went down to the Andre house. But yeah, as soon as I was finishing up, I had texted and asked if she still wanted me to come over there. So it's possible she's answering me. So I'm gonna go check that out while I wait for my train. Thanks for coming with me. Thanks for coming with me on the walk, and like and subscribe if you like watching me wander around the city of Phoenix while I talk to myself about, whatever happens to be on my mind at the moment, as my mind wanders all over the damn place.